Joe, would you turn down sex with an absolutely gorgeous woman because you heard her in a bathroom having fun with her bodily functions?
Define having fun.
She's in there with a buddy of hers, and they're playing, like, toilet stall battleship.
They're literally in the same stall?
You watched the movie, Joe.
I know, but you're the way you explain it.
They're in stalls on either side of you, and they're making, like, bodily noise sounds. Oh, you sunk my battleship.
It would probably be a turn-off early in the relationship, like if it was, I didn't really know this girl and I'm hearing this stuff, but if we've already been going out, then I'm going to see and hear everything. That wouldn't matter. So it depends where in the relationship it is. That's not a funny opener, but that's what we got.
You know what? I'll take it.
Well, does this still work? The podcast looks at movies and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon.
And I'm George Romaka. And today we're discussing Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle from 2004 and some historical context. First, podcasty stuff. We're excited to announce that we've joined the Creator Accountability Network. CAN is a nonprofit dedicated to reducing harassment and abuse through ethical education and a system of restorative accountability. We joined because we care about the safety and well-being of our community members. If you feel our behavior or content has harmed someone, please report it to CAN, either via the reporting form on their website, creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org, or via their hotline at 617-249-4255. They'll help us make it right and avoid repeating that mistake in the future. CAN also needs volunteers from our communities to help with their work, so if you have skills you think would be helpful, or time and a desire to help, please visit their website to find out how you can volunteer. Most importantly, get the word out to other creators who you think would be interested in getting credentialed. Help us build safer communities together. You can reach us at dtswpod@gmail.com, on Facebook, Letterboxd, and on our YouTube channel. Joe is on Blue Sky at joedixon.bsky.social. Please tell your friends about us, even the ones who drop their cargo at the first sign of an Imperial cruiser. Wait, no, that's Han Solo. Even the ones who throw the last of your weed out the window as soon as they see a cop, and leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/dtswpod.
Okay, George, before we go back to 2004, I just wanted to bring this up real quick. Number one, you and I have never actually been to White Castle, have we?
I have.
Well, I've been there, but I mean, us together have never been to White Castle.
No, we've never been to a White Castle together.
Oh, and also, secondly, I have to tell the audience that I finally figured out, if you were curious, you probably looked it up yourselves, don't already know, that in Saturday Night Fever, you know those big burgers that they're served at their White Castle? That was a prop. Those weren't actual burgers they served at the White Castle. I thought for sure, because I remember when I was on the road doing comedy, I once went to this Pizza Hut, and it was a full pizza. So, and then I see this movie, so I thought, it must be the same thing, that I guess on the road, White Castles are bigger or something. But no, it was like, although that was in New York. But either way, no, it was just a prop. Why they did that, I don't know. Oh, they did. I know why they did it, because they can see it better. But why not go to a regular restaurant then? Why do White Castle?
Don't pick a White Castle.
Yeah. It was very confusing to me, and I'm upset. And I'm upset that I shared it with the listeners. I'm so sorry. I did not know.
I think they'll forgive you.
George, let's go back to 2004.
Okay.
And this is the way it was.
This is a farcical movie about two idiots who get high and can't get to a White Castle without going through an hour and a half of hijinks. Not for nothing. They start in New York, right?
Yeah. I believe it's New York, yes.
And then they go to New Jersey.
Yes, because apparently the best White Castle they could get is in New Jersey. I don't know why.
Well, the thing is, they go deep into New Jersey. There's a fucking White Castle in Jersey City. And I'm pretty sure it's been there for a while.
At least 20 years?
Yeah.
Well, what can I say? They are high after all, so.
Yes. Along the way, they encounter a bunch of racism. So we'll talk about racism and fast food in this history segment.
Oh, goody. My favorite combo, fast food and racism.
Joe, give us our first headline from the Record of Hackensack, New Jersey.
Ooh, Hackensack, my favorite sort of sack. Student's essay is a law day hit.
A 14-year-old high school freshman wrote an essay about what he thought it was like back in the days of racially segregated public schools. You know, the great days that Republicans want to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good, the essay, that it was picked up to win the Bergen Vicinage Minority Concerns Committee's Law Day Essay Contest. That's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
To celebrate the 50th anniversary of Brown versus Board of Education that made such school segregation along racial lines illegal.
Which means they were woke.
Yes. In his essay, he said he could see how such segregated environments could breed violent racism, and went on to describe the psychological effects of such policies.
So this 14-year-old child has more common sense than the people who are currently in our White House.
This person who was 14 in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Knows more than Dumb Dumb Donald.
This movie is ostensibly a comedy. So let's get off the heavy subject matter and into the matter that makes a subject heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, give us our second headline, this time from the Times of Trenton, New Jersey.
Study confirms that eating fast food makes you fat. Wow, really?
Yeah. Fresh off the presses, or greasy off the not-so-fresh burger presses, comes the news that regularly consuming food with high caloric density, minimal nutritional density, and more salt than anything should have in it makes you fat and makes you die faster.
But is it worth it? Does a study say that? On the one hand,
No.
Yes, fast food is bad. On the other hand, it's so goddamn delicious.
It is delicious. For 2 years, it was my habit on Tuesdays before choir practice to go to McDonald's. When I started practicing intermittent fasting, I would fast for 20 hours, then eat 3,000 calories worth of the stuff. That's not what made me gain weight back, but it didn't help. We're recording this at the end of February 2026, and I've been fasting from Monday evenings into Wednesday every week. That's 36 to 44 hour fasts. And I feel better than when I was eating McDonald's every Tuesday. So it's not just the calories, it's the quality.
Indeed. Well, so the calories just weighs you down, quite literally weighs you down, and all that salt and the sugar and everything in there. It's like, no wonder you feel better. It's interesting. I haven't had any fast food in a while, but sometimes I might want to try a little treat. And I remember last time I had Kentucky Fried Chicken, because I hadn't had it in years. That is so greasy. It's like, oh my God, how did I eat this?
So, a couple of nutritional things about it. So, salt makes your body hold on to water.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. And sugar, every gram or every molecule of glucose that is stored in your body is stored with 3 molecules of water. So, both salt and sugar cause you to retain water, which increases your weight and makes everything heavier.
Okay.
So, just be aware of that. Like, if you have a meal heavy in those things, you're probably going to feel a little bloated.
Indeed.
Well, if there's one thing we know about America, it's that if there's a way to kill people faster, there's a way to make money doing it. So, Joe, give us our last headline from the Courier Post of Camden, New Jersey.
Fast food's a fast fix for those in need of a job.
One of those celebrity chef types, I think the Ace of Cakes guy, he says he owes his being a chef to his early job working at McDonald's. He says it taught him everything he needed to know about food handling and safety. And I worked at KFC my senior year in high school, and I can absolutely confirm that. Like, you hear horror stories, but horror stories exist because the norm isn't that. Most places try not to sicken their customers. I mean, other than driving them towards metabolic disorders, heart disease, and diabetes.
You know, I have to wonder what the fast food joints are going to do in the future, because a lot of younger people are not eating. You've probably seen the same headlines I have, that the young people aren't driving cars, they're not eating fast food, they're not having sex, it's just blah, 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 all the things the teens are not doing. It's really weird why they don't get into what they are doing, other than, some of them doing fascism, but I just wonder what's going to happen to the fast food joints. I guess they're going to have to start serving better meals.
Well, that, or they're going to go out of business. Like, Not for nothing, the whole AI craze is causing a lot of people to lose their jobs, and these companies are so fucking short-sighted because they're all doing it. But if they all do it at the same time, what that does is shrink the economy, put less money into it to be spent, and starve them of money too. Like, these fucking assholes just don't get that we're a giant ecosystem.
Yeah, it's amazing how people can't understand. If you don't have workers, how are they going to pay for your stuff? Do you not sell your stuff? Because if they don't have money for it, they're not going to do it.
Exactly.
And I know you don't like godless socialism, so what do you want? Because do you want the government to step in and start buying things for people? Because that will be the next step. Because people are just not going to stay in the street and starve, folks. They don't have work. The money's not coming in. They can't buy stuff. They can't eat. It's not going to be great society there. And I don't mean great society in the LBJ sense.
Nope, sure won't be. All right, Joe, let's talk about Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Let's do that. We'll get into the staffing of this film, which was directed by Danny Leonard, whose work I've seen in Dude, Where's My Car? It was written by John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossberg. So if you're wondering about some of the Jewish jokes in it, blame those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen their written work in A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas and Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
And I've seen their work in Cobra Kai, the TV show. And apparently, they only work together.
Oh, that's nice. I guess.
Sure.
Blurbs. IMDb says, a Korean-American office worker and his Indian-American stoner friend embarked on a quest to satisfy their desire for White Castle burgers. Short and sweet.
Okay.
YouTube says, unrated with even more hilarious content. In this year's funniest comedy, two guys on a quest to satisfy their cravings for burgers find themselves on a hilarious all-night adventure as they run into one screwy obstacle after another.
Sure.
Bit hyperbolic, but sure. Okay. Now the characters in this thing, we're going to talk about Harold. Harold is played by John Cho. And for the podcast, we've seen him in Better Luck Tomorrow and American Pie. And as anyone who's seen this picture knows, they use the phrase Better Luck Tomorrow in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
To say, Dude, Where's My Car? Which is also the title of one of the films the people put this together worked on. Anyway, we've seen, George and I, Mr. Cho in Star Trek, the 2009 version. And I've also seen him in Star Trek Into Darkness, Star Trek Beyond, Searching, Grandma, Wag the Dog, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, and Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
And I've seen him in American Beauty and Evolution.
Kumar is played by Kal Penn, and I've seen him in all the Harold and Kumar movies already mentioned.
And I've seen him in Van Wilder and Superman Returns.
I guess I should say I also seen him in House. He was a doctor in that for a couple of the seasons.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he committed suicide.
I forgot all about that.
Neil Patrick Harris is played by Neil Patrick Harris.
Uh-huh.
And for the podcast, we've seen his work in Starship Troopers and Gone Girl. And I've seen him in A Million Ways to Die in the West, A Harold and Kumar Christmas, Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, Dr. Horrible's Sing-Along blog, and, of course, I used to see him in Doogie Howser, MD. A TV show, I'm about to say film. A TV show they do reference in this because apparently, they obviously didn't know he was going to have another series after this.
Yeah, because I've seen him in How I Met Your Mother, the TV show, that he was also in all the episodes of.
Yes, I'm sure more people know him from that these days than Hauser.
Yep.
Let me start off by saying I saw this movie when it was in the theaters. I was 37 at the time, which means I was not the demo for this picture then, and I'm certainly not the demo for this picture now. Holy hell. Anyway, the plot here is pretty basic. Harold and Kumar are stoners. Kumar, even more so since his dad pays his rent, while Harold has to actually hold down a job.
Mm-hmm.
Harold is harassed at work and forced to work over the weekend by his low-life coworkers who have higher status than him. He also has a neighbor that he likes but is too nervous to talk to. Meanwhile, you think all that weed would help, but never mind. Anyway, meanwhile, Kumar has interviews for med school that he keeps blowing off because he doesn't want to be a doctor like his father and brother are.
All right, back to that point about the weed. I don't think weed makes it easier to talk to people you're attracted to or more motivated to do so.
I would like to make him at least a little looser. I mean, he's really tight with her. I don't mean that in a sexual...
No, You're the only one that thought you did, Joe.
One evening, the boys are on the couch getting high when they get the munchies and start hunting for a White Castle. They then go on an adventure that brings them into conflict with racist cops, racist street gangs, and a totally out of control Neil Patrick Harris. The film keeps mentioning he was Doogie Howser, but these days I think more people know him from How I Met Your Mother, which we already discussed. By the end of their adventure, Harold stands up to his bullies and gets the girl, while Kumar decides that actually, yeah, he should go to medical school. Oh, and they get to eat at White Castle. The end. George, I left out a lot. Would you like to add anything?
No, the only other thing I mentioned, I turned into the cold open.
Okie dokie then. So, my friend, first question I have for you is, they use the R word a lot in this flick. Does it automatically date the film?
Oh, fuck yes. Holy hell yes.
It's unfortunate. It's not unlike when, and I hadn't actually seen the picture before, but I was still shocked that it was there, was when we saw Hangover. When we saw Hangover, and the first words out of Bradley Cooper's mouth is F-A-G-G-O-T. Like, wow, really? Okay.
Well, and since you don't mention it in here, the amount of using racism, like police brutality as fodder for comedy in a post-George Floyd, like, Black Lives Matter world. Like, it's not as funny now that we all kind of know, oh shit, no, that's not even a joke. That's barely even satire of what actually happens.
Well, I'll defend the picture on this. I mean, obviously they had police brutality before George Floyd, and that's why they are basing this on. I mean, it's obviously supposed to be over the top. I didn't take it too seriously. And neither does the film. Anyway, moving on. I remember actually caring about these guys when I saw this 21 years ago. But viewing it now, I don't feel anything about them. What about you?
No, I couldn't give a fuck about them. I had no empathy for them at all.
And what this thing was like, why should I care about these two guys? I don't think they're necessarily awful, but I also just don't, And also it's kind of weird, their friendship, and of course it's typical when they do this in a movie. One's got to be uptight, the other's got to be loosey-goosey. But the point of fact, if that was the case, they probably wouldn't be friends.
Yeah, and I'm getting old, Joe.
You are, but not older than me.
Because time... But you'll always be the same amount older than me. That's what I love about old people. But, like, his neighbor that he's got a crush on, 10 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah. Now I'm like, oh, she's too young for me.
Well, at the time, she would have been your age. How? I don't know how old the character is, but I assume you're about the same age she would have been that time.
I figured they're in their 20s.
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere in their 20s.
So 10 years ago, that would have put me at 34. That would have put me, like... Even then would have been a little
out of range. Is this a sketch comedy strung together, or is it a full realized motion picture?
It's definitely not a fully fledged motion picture. I guess it would have to be sketch comedy strung together, but more like stuck together using chewed gum.
I think it is a movie in the sense that they do have a plot that does move forward, but it's very sketchy. It's just very obviously just going from one beat to another, ha 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 ha, and it's funny, ha 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 ha. And of course,
and upping the stakes and like upping the stupidity with each one.
Upping the stupidity.
So,
and the ridiculousness of because the characters, even though they're in a different place at the end of the film, really they don't really grow at all.
No,
which is true of actually a lot of pictures, I guess. But the thing is, they're like. They go from these adventures and it's just different set pieces. Like, there's the guy who wants to have sex with his wife and the two of them, and he has festers coming on his face. And then they have the guys who want to beat them up in the parking lots. Every year in the parking lot, they go into these white racist gang. And then, of course, there's the two other friends, also stoners, who are two Jewish guys. They make a very point of pointing out. And then, of course, there's the girl, who they also see a couple of other times in the film, but it all just sort of, just a little too...
It's a lot.
I mean, it's a full film.
Yeah.
What does Harold do to get the girl? For that matter, are the women in this picture even characters?
All right, what does Harold do to get the girl? He speaks to her.
They talk, and then what happens 5 minutes after they talk?
They kiss.
They're making out already. Oh, if only it worked that way.
And then she's going off to, what, Europe or Amsterdam for
She's going
10
to
days?
Amsterdam. They make a point of this. That's where the weed is legal.
Right. And Harold's like, yeah, it's fine. 10 days. I could wait 10 days. I've been waiting years. Which is a weirdly mature position for, like, I don't expect either of these guys to be that emotionally intelligent. But I guess, like, the movie had to be over. I don't even know why they did. Like, why did they have... It was stupid.
Did they have to end it that way? Because they needed a joke. And they figured it was funny that she's going to Amsterdam. Amsterdam? That's where we can get some weed. And they run off to Amsterdam. They needed some button on it, and that was the button.
But yeah, as for the women in this picture characters, no. They're props. They're sex props.
They're 100% sex props. And some of the treatment of them, I mean, they're not... I'm trying to think. I don't think they're necessarily badly treated. I've certainly seen worse. But yeah, they're just not really fully fleshed out characters, which I guess is sort of the premise, because the whole idea of this film, the reason this film was made, is they wanted to do... Both these men are, obviously worked in Hollywood for many years, and they, of course, had to do with a lot of racism of characters they wanted them to play. And so they wanted to make a comedy where these characters would be in the background. In the John Hughes movie, Kumar or Harold wouldn't be able to speak English, and they just be these dumb ethnic jokes. And they just want to push those guys up front, but the white people in the background, which is cool. I'm for that, but unfortunately, they were also repeating some of the awful tropes from those type of movies.
Right, and I think that speaks to your question number 5 here. In what ways are Harold and Kumar different than in other stoner movies? They're not white.
Yeah, that's the big difference.
They're not white, and they're not black.
They're not black. But they do focus on people who are not white. The black character, there's the guy they're both Asian. So that's their focus, and it works fair enough, I guess. But honestly, it's just like some of the jokes just around it. It's just like, ooh, has not aged well. Yikes! Nope. The film is aiming for an emotional journey for the two characters, but is it successful? I guess we both said no already.
No, I mean, you have you have two things that are true at the beginning of the movie that are no longer true, right? Harold has an unrequited crush on his neighbor at the beginning of the movie, and Kumar is trying to dodge going to medical school. And at the end of the movie, Harold talks to his neighbor, and they make out, and I guess that means they're going to grow up and get married. And Kumar's like, you know what? I know all the medical stuff already. Maybe I should just be a doctor.
Right, because in the earlier scene, they wound up in
he actually with fucking Ryan Reynolds in it.
That's right.
He ends up saving a gunshot victim.
Yes, and then they ask the gunshot victim where the White Castle is.
So there is that skosh of actual character progression, but it's the barest skosh.
I want to return to Harold because something just popped in my head as I was thinking about it. The problem with films like this, and the problem I would have with him just talking to the girl and suddenly she's into him, there is and again, I know it's just supposed to be a comedy, but there is this tendency to think, oh, I'm the nice guy, therefore I should be rewarded with pussy. No, you've got to do more, buddy. And just talking to her itself doesn't mean you're going to get the girl. She could be in another relationship. She could just not be interested. It's okay. Gotta accept that if that's the case. Don't like, oh, I'm a nice guy, and I just didn't talk to her, and suddenly I talked to her, and now she wants me. That's going to be almost never. This is a real fantasy.
Correct.
But really, I have nothing more to say other than, does it still work?
Yeah, no. It runs the risk that comedies run. Like, I didn't find it funny, which is the cardinal sin of a comedy. But even if I try to give it as much benefit of the doubt as I can for that and look at it through, like, 20-year-old's eyes, the jokes didn't age well. So it wasn't funny enough, and it's got some issues with the content. So, no, I don't think it worked.
Agreed. Yeah, and really, ultimately, the cardinal sin is, if you're going to be a comedy, you better be funny. I mean, I'm not a biggest Adam Sandler fan in the world. I actually like his dramatic acting more than his comedies. But Billy Madison made me laugh a lot. I was Billy Madison we saw, right?
No.
Oh, what's the one with his golf? Because that's also all his pictures have the names. Oh, Happy Gilmore, I think, right?
Happy Gilmore. That.
Okay, right. All his films are named after him, so I don't know which is which. And like I said, I'm not the biggest fan, but Happy Gilmore made me laugh, so all is forgiven. Whatever plot points or stupidness is in there, I'm laughing. So you're working. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
All right, my friend. What is up next?
Next week, we'll be talking about Reservoir Dogs from 1992.
Ooh, a very different movie.
Yes.
Have you ever seen it?
No. I believe this... Was this the one that was mentioned in... Swordfish!
Swordfish, that was the name.
That was the movie.
Right, with John Travolta and Halle Berry. And who was the lead in that? It was Wolverine, wasn't it? Was it Hugh Jackman? Yeah. Yeah, different film. Anyway, yes, Reservoir Dogs. Should be very interesting. And if you didn't like language in this picture, I gotta like the language in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, but I don't think Reservoir Dogs is trying to be funny. Is it?
There are some bits in it that seem like it's supposed to be funny. Not those particular bits, but you will see.
All right. We'll find out.
It's been a while. Who knows? Maybe I misremembered. It's a Tarantino movie, so I'm pretty sure the N-word is there somewhere.
And there's going to be feet. Great.
And they're going to be feet, yes.
Yeah, because I was pleasantly, like, it's less than 2 hours. With that title, I felt like it was going to be like a 3-hour movie.
Oh, you think it sounds very serious?
Yeah, but it's not. It's less than 2 hours.
Not. Some serious stuff happens, but, well, we'll see. We'll discuss it that day. That is not today. So I guess that's it for this episode. I'm Joe Dixon. Thank you for listening.
And I'm George Romanka. Thanks for listening indeed, because if a podcast drops and there's no one around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
This content is CAN credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org. The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
The thumbnail. That's the...
Ah, yes, that's what it is.
See, now all the things are coming back, all at the same time for some reason. So from No Stupid Questions, why does rural America look down on educated people? So from Stupid Questions, why do we say slept like a baby when babies wake up every 2 hours? So from Random Question, what's something you believed as a kid that you're honestly embarrassed you thought was real? We get enough patrons. If we get enough patrons that Joe doesn't have to go back to work, I will wear a suit for every episode. So from Stupid Questions, why are the female characters in anime always overly sexualized? And back to Random Questions. Do you guys rinse your lips with water after eating a meal?